Robert J. Conley here, live on YouTube and on Instagram. Yep, shaking it up a little bit. Different shirt, different lighting. Um, why? Just got bored with the old thing. All right. I was watching a little thing about fighter jet airplanes, and a little factoid really stuck with me. And that is that a fighter jet requires, for every hour of flight, a fighter jet requires about 10 man hours of maintenance. I'm sorry, person hours, people hours, 10 human hours of maintenance. And you can't skip it. If they don't perform their maintenance, the probabilities of that airplane failing in the air heightens dramatically. And yet humans, which are far more complex machines, are prone to skip essential maintenance. And so I'm here to talk about that today. And the good news is you don't need 10 hours of maintenance for every hour of work. I'm sure there are plenty of folks out there who have tried to convince their bosses that's the case, but it's not. I mean, the good news is actually it's kind of reverse. It's like, 10 hours of work and 1 hour of maintenance. I don't know. You do the math. At any rate, so I'm gonna focus on maintenance in terms of a sense of well-being. And the physical component is there, but that's not my focus. My focus is for the benefit of your physical well-being. And it's even more important today, and part of why it's on my radar is that I'm working with a lot of clients these days that have been dealing with depression and are kind of only now realizing that they've been depressed. And so the past 14 months have been really hard. And part of dealing with it has been people actually doing things that dull their senses, watching too much video games, eating poorly, not exercising. And, moving forward, it's important for yourself, for your family, that you are just clear and crisp and moving forward powerfully. And so I'm going to talk about four points, and the first one I'm going to speak in generalities because part of what I do as a consultant, and a reason to contact me, is for specific plans on how to execute what I'm going to talk about in general. And so if you find yourself wanting to do that, I'm at robertjconley.com, and you can contact me that way. So here are some basics. Number one is to accept the fact that most things don't work for most people. And I'll tell you where this is coming from. A lot of people go on the internet and they read the, 7 steps to certain well-being, the 13 essential things to the blah, 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 blah. Now, the frame of reference to have on any of those is that maybe one of them will work some of the time. If it's more than that, great. But realize that most advice, and I'm even doing this, I'm doing this too. I'm still overlaying what has worked for me, and it may or may not work for you. But I'll give you a couple of what I find to be humorous examples. So, like supposedly, white noise is supposed to help you go to sleep. White noise just annoys me. Complete quiet. Complete quiet is potentially something that will help you sleep. Yeah, help some people, doesn't help others. A little bit of noise is actually helpful. Transcendental meditation. I'm a big fan. I love it. I do it every day. Some people have tried, it just doesn't work. And so I bring this up only because I want you to stop engaging in shoulds. Get rid of the shoulds. Oh, this worked for Sally. This should work for me. Now, this is especially, I'm going to go with the word dicey. I'm not sure it's the right word, but this is it's an interesting dynamic in personal relationships. Because here's one of the, I don't know if it's unfortunate. One of the things that makes life interesting is that we are inherently attracted to our opposites. If we look at temperaments, at aptitudes, and you look at couples, what we see in real life is that people overwhelmingly mate with their opposite. So if that's true, what else is true? What works for your other may be the exact opposite thing of what will work for you. And if you can just be at peace with this and let go of the should, and just say, hey, yeah, it works for you, it doesn't work for me. A lot of people will do that. A lot of people, it's a battle. And there's just, it can be a source of tension. So let go of those shoulds and realize most things don't work most of the time. What works for your other very well may not work for you. Be at peace with it. Find what works for you. All right. Next thing, proper maintenance is as much about not doing as doing. And so, a couple things to get a better sense of well-being. And this one just scares the daylights out of a lot of people, but it is one of the strongest things you can do. Stop watching the news. Stop watching the news. Have I mentioned this? Stop watching the news. I'm not saying go completely head in the sand. I mean, find a website you like that hopefully gives an even-handed sense of the news. Scan it once a day and be done. Move on. Now, I got turned on to a great website a while back that I thought I'd written down the name of, and now I'm groundnews.com. Groundnews.com. And they actually show you how the different outlets are reporting on any given item. And you can scan that thing super quickly. You realize, oh, there is nothing in the news that I can do anything about. I'm going to go ahead and go back to what I can control in my life. And the thing that's a little tricky too is that you get physically addicted to the chemicals that are released when these especially the TV news people are reporting the stories they're reporting. They're meant to release chemicals in your body and get you addicted to that, and it is not a good addiction. So the next point is use your wealth time wisely. Use your wealth time wisely. Now, what's your wealth time? Your wealth time is what I call that roughly 30 hours a week that you have left over after your full-time job and your fundamental maintenance of eating, sleeping, and exercising. And in that 30 hours is where you build your wealth. And I don't just mean monetary wealth. Yes, that is a component of it because deep wealth can give you an increased feeling of well-being. But the other part is just where you build your fundamental feeling of abundance. It's in your relationships. It's in your your personal relationships, your friends, and it's in your experiences. And I think that it's our experiences that we have been hugely deprived of over the last 14 months. And so I would urge everyone in coming out of this to really focus on experiences. And I don't need to tell a lot of people that, but sometimes we just get sideways and we forget, or we've dulled ourselves or whatever. And it's like, get super aggressive about re-engaging in your positive experiences. Design these into your life. And that's going to bring me, though, to point number 4, my final point. And it comes back to what I talk to over and over again. The fundamentals of a satisfying work life. It's the alignment of your interests, your values, your temperament, and your natural abilities or aptitudes. And it is only by having those aligned that you will have the superb high-level energy to then live a life of abundance and have the energy to execute on that front, to be abundant. And so if you are not aligned within your aptitudes, temperament, interests, and values, that is where I help you think accurately about yourself and explore the ways in which you can make changes to your work life that will heighten your clear, crisp living of a very abundant, full life. I'm Robert J. Conley, and you can reach me at robertjconley.com. Take care.